Makers from 1949 to 2022. This came out 4 months ago and has about 640,000 views. So we're going to see this and see how good it is. So here we go.
Defunct automobile companies there are. We're talking over 1,300 different
Wow.
manufacturers. For example, Badger, that was founded in 1910, built 237 cars, then went bankrupt in 1911. Moon Motor Cars, they were founded in 1905 and lasted up until 1930. Playboy Motor Car Corporation, founded in the late 40s, they built 97 production cars and soon after went under. Starting a car company in the early 1900s was kind of like starting a tech company. There was low barrier to entry, tons of experimentation, parts were interchangeable, and there weren't really any standardizations. In this video, we'll see some of the more popular companies like Plymouth and Oldsmobile, but we'll also see some companies you've probably never heard of. Then, of course, World War I and the Great Depression happened. In 1909, there were over 270 American car companies. Come 1929, fewer than 45 were left. If you've been watching me for any length of time now, you know that I don't include anything past the late 60s. And even then, that's pushing it, but this video will be an exception, as our first company is Airway, founded in 1949 and closed up shop in 1950. Airway managed to build 2 microcars, a coupe called the Vicinity and a 2-door slopeback sedan called the Traveler. They both had an all-aluminum body and chassis, a wheelbase of 100 inches, and were powered by an air-cooled 10.6 horsepower engine. They were considered to be modern and appealing looking, but unfortunately, these microcars were not it, and we'll soon see other attempts from other companies trying to do the same. Next is Keller, founded in 1947 and gone by 1950 due to unforeseeable circumstances. The 1949 Keller Super Chief, this wood-body station wagon, was the only model Keller was able to bring to limited production. It was designed to be affordable and economical with its 94-inch wheelbase, and there was local support and enthusiasm for this project. Unfortunately, George Keller, the president, he passed away and it closed up soon after. Playboy Automobile Company was founded in 1947 and soon went bankrupt in 1951. There is an association with the Playboy magazines. This company came before them, and after they went under, this name was pitched to Hugh Hefner, and the rest is, well, history. Around 97 cars, and were one of the first vehicles to have a retractable hardtop. Under the hood was a 2-liter 4-cylinder good for 40 horsepower, made it into a 3-speed manual. Serial number 102 was the last production car, and at the time it was unfinished, and I'm not too sure on the status of it. It was the same fate as the other companies. Crossley is a different story in the sense that they've been around longer than the company. They started producing automobiles in 1939 and lasted up until 1952.
I've seen 2 Crossleys,
lineup of compact vehicles,
a convertible and a wagon.
Series. The CD series consisted of a station wagon, sedan, convertible, panel delivery, and pickup in deluxe and super versions. The VC series consisted of the Hot Shot Roadster and Super Sports Roadster, and the FR series had the Farm-O-Road. Crossley produced compact, affordable cars and were the first to have mass-produced disc brakes for them. They couldn't compete with these shifting consumer preferences.
I've seen that.
And went bankrupt in 1952. Next is Glasspar, a boat-building company that mixed it up and created the first production all-fiberglass sports car. These were produced from 1950 to 1953. Around 100 were made. Most were sold as kits, but a few were sold as complete. I'm leaving out a lot of information, but if I don't,
I know.
This video is going to be very long, and this technically wasn't even an automobile company. The owner of this next company lost $1,000 per vehicle in 1953, with a total loss of around $400,000, which is more than $4.7 million in 2025. The company in question is Muntz, founded in 1950 and lasted until 1954. The Muntz Jet was a very expensive car, costing around $5,500, which is almost $2,000 more than a Lincoln Capri convertible of the time.
Wow.
It featured aluminum body panels, removable fiberglass top, and later models had a Lincoln side valve V8 good for 160 horsepower. These were quick cars too, with a top speed of 112 miles per hour and a 0 to 80 time of 9 seconds, according to the company owner. The last group of jets produced were built on a unique 120-inch wheelbase, a 7-inch increase, and that's all I can find in terms of the last ever production model. 198 units were made, and finding one today is beyond rare, and if you do, they are very expensive. I won't be
Gilmore has
including
one.
Packard in part 1, but I will include Clipper, a one-year-only separate company marketed below Packard. The idea was to
Packard
differentiate the
Studebaker.
luxurious Packards from mid-price offerings, and this was a very risky move since the company was already sinking. It ended up failing with a little over 18,500 units produced across 3 different trims: Deluxe, Super, and Custom. Essentially, these were Packards with less options, trim, and a shorter wheelbase. They did, however, feature Packard's torsion-level suspension and even an optional push-button automatic transmission.
Ooh.
Again, I wasn't able to find the very last model that rolled off the assembly line. It could have been a sedan or convertible in any one of the 3 trims. That is going to wrap it up for the 50s, my most untouched decade. Feel free to leave a comment if I made any mistakes. And with that said, let's kick off the 60s
Edsel.
with Edsel. Edsel has a very in-depth history to it with a very devoted community. And while we don't have the time to go over it, I was able to find the very last model produced.
I actually seen Edsel in real life.
846 1960 model Edsels were made, and they were quite different from the original models. Gone was that infamous center grille, replaced with an hourglass design.
Oh.
They offered 2 models that year, the Ranger sedan and the Villager station wagon. There were 2 different seating configurations for the wagon, either 6-passenger or 9. The very last model made was a 9-passenger Villager in Sahara beige with the Alaskan gold roof and a 352 V8, which was the most powerful engine option. Just 59 of these 9-passenger Villagers were produced for the 1960 model year, making them the rarest Edsel wagon ever. Our second 1960s entry goes to Henny Motor Company, which first started off as a coach company popular in the 40s and 50s that experimented with an all-electric car. The Henny Kilowatt was based on the Renault Dauphine, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, and was offered from 1959 to 1960. Over that short production run, 100 units were built, but only 47 sold. 1960 models had a 72-volt system that allowed the car to reach 60 miles per hour with a range of 60 miles. This was a nice upgrade from 1959 models with a 36-volt system that had a top speed of 40 miles per hour and a range of 40 miles. The Kilowatt was the result of a joint collaboration with a few other companies, and one of the reasons for its failure was due to its high production costs. Our next entry is from International Motor Cars, founded in 1962 and went bankrupt in 1964. They built the Apollo 5000 GT, an Italian-American sports car.
Oh, I've seen one of those.
Made with one of the last models assumed of having the bigger engine, which was a Buick V8 good for 225 horsepower, made it into a 4-speed manual. 2 body styles were offered, either convertible or fastback, and it's most likely that the last one made was a fastback, as only a few convertibles were built. 2 other companies took on the same project after International Motor Cars went under, and both suffered the very same fate. Now for a more popular Studebaker, founded back in 1852 and transitioned to making automobiles in the early 1900s.
South Bend, Indiana.
Come the 50s, they were really struggling to compete with the big 3, and they had higher production costs as well. In 1954, they merged with Packard. In 63, they closed their main plant in Indiana, but production continued in Canada until 1966. And this is where we are greeted with the very last Studebaker to roll off the assembly line. It was a 1966 Cruiser 4-door sedan in Timberland turquoise with a Chevy.
I've seen that one.
V8. It was one of just 8,947 units produced.
I have seen that car.
To reach 20,000 units. These 66 models are unique because they featured a refresh as a last-ditch effort and are highly collectible today. The last Cruiser is at the Studebaker National Museum in Indiana, where it will continue to sit and not be driven.
Yep, I've seen it.
In this case, it makes sense for it to be
South Bend, Indiana.
It's literally the last car for them, but it's debatable. That will wrap up the 60s for part 1, and we kick off the 70s with Sebring Vanguard, founded in 1974 and sold a company in 1977. The 70s had a lot of stuff going on, but one of the main issues was the oil prices. So this company formed and made the city car and electric contraption.
Oh, I've seen one of those in real life.
Absolutely ridiculous. Around 2,300 units were built in Florida, but rumored to be the last from Sebring Vanguard was the City Van. They featured an extended wheelbase of the city car and had a distinctive side window behind the doors. It is believed that 11 were built before the company sold their assets to Frank Flower, who we will see shortly. Our last 70s entry goes to General Vehicles Incorporated, and they were the ones that created the Bricklin SV1.
Bricklin's awesome.
Bricklin was the last name of the founder, and he was also responsible for bringing over the Yugo to America.
Yeah. And Subaru too.
I earned my degree online at Southern New Hampshire
He brought
University.
Subaru to the United States.
It's possible to raise a family, to pursue other things, and still further your education.
And you can do it too.
And that's not kick us off.
I live in Massachusetts.
I live in Texas.
I live in California.
I live in Pennsylvania.
I'm from Florida.